Hi everybody, I hope everybody is well. So today what we're going to do is we're going to cover the jars. I've got a few little stickers, bits and pieces, so I thought I'd film it and obviously craft along and see how everything turns out. So this is resin, so I will go through some products in a second. We built this on my Facebook Live last night, so I do want to make a few different ones. Let's run through some products you're going to need. You're going to need some UV resin. Obviously, I am in the UK. You can purchase this on Amazon. I think they're on offer, again, 3 bottles for $15.99. So there's no sort of like mixing to part A to part B. It does set with your UV torch. This is the torch I use. Again, this was from Amazon. I think these are $7.99. You can also use the UV lamp if you do gel nails as well. You will also need some candle liquid dye. I think there's 21 in a set. I'm not quite sure on the price at the moment. I think they're about $12.99, again from Amazon. You can also use acrylic paints. I've just pulled these out. These are just, this was from the range. This was from a shop called Boys. But again, you can purchase this online. So as long as it's acrylic paint. To the top of your jar, you will need some PVA glue or some tacky glue. I have used greaseproof paper on mine, so you can use greaseproof paper. And just to bind it, I've used some cotton. You're going to see later on how we pop this on the top. You can also use fabrics, tiny little elastic bands as well if you don't want to you know, use the string. You can also use tissue paper. Just put all my bits and pieces on here. I've got my stickers to go on my jars. I've got some polyballs in purple, blue, and some sesame seeds. I've also got a little glue stick in orange and a pencil sharpener. So the first one I'm going to start with is the honey. So for the honey, obviously I don't want it a really block colour, so I'm going to go to my candle dye for this. And I'm going to use butter. Obviously the more you add in, the less see-through it's going to be. So taking your jar, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put some resin just sort of halfway up. Bearing in mind, obviously the more you get in, the longer it's going to take to set. And what I want to do is I want to mix the honey just inside this bottom part here, just by adding a couple of drops of my butter. So just another little tip, these are really strong dyes. So like I say, the more you add, the stronger the colour. So I don't want to go too much. I'm literally going to go 2 drops. If it comes out, there we go. And then I'm going to take my bamboo skewer. This is a little bit long. You can obviously use a paintbrush as well. Let me just snap that off. And I'm just going to start mixing the resin in just at the bottom for my honey. So what I've done is obviously it's given me sort of a base at the bottom, and as you can see it is, you know, quite thick, and the colour is quite block. So once everything is mixed together, let's take that out. What I'm going to do now is go in just with clear resin, so I'm not going to add any more dye. I'm just going to go straight in again with my resin. And then I'm going to again mix that. What will happen is it will become more clear because there's hardly any dye at the bottom of your jar. So just take your time mixing it. And then once everything is mixed together, you'll see, because obviously you'll get sort of like the streaks. You now need to use your UV torch. What I tend to do is just sit it on the top, give it about 30 seconds. And then just flip your torch this way on, and again, just place it on the bottom. And again, just give it about 30 seconds. So once you've done that, it'll take about a minute to set. You can obviously run your torch again around your whole bottle. And just to test it, just tap on the top. And that is now set. So this is the sticker. So what I'm going to do is just peel this off and pop it to the front of my jar. Like this. So obviously we're going to cover the lids. I will show you where we'll do all the jars and then I'll show you the lid just on one of them, and then you can carry on and do the rest. So now that is all set, just make sure you've got no resin along this edge. If you have, you can run a little craft knife or your fingers like I do. So that is our little honey pot. So like I say, we're going to do the lids later on. So the next one, let me see what there is. This is homemade raspberry jam. So we're going to do this one next. Just got my jar. The colour I'm going to go in with this one is plum. I'm also going to use some little sesame seeds as well. So taking your resin again, we're going to go into the bottom, just like we did with the honey. And then going to add a couple of drops of plum. Oh, I haven't used this one yet. Let me just snip off the top. There we go. And I'm just going to add a couple of drops inside. Oh, I haven't quite cut it. And then again, taking your skewer, cocktail stick or a brush, we're now going to mix this inside here. Just to give us our base colour. And then again, what I'm going to do is top it up with my resin. And then if I need it a little bit darker, I can add some more dye. I would rather do it that way. Obviously you can drag it up the sides as well if you don't want to use too much resin and fill the whole bottle. Just like we did on the jam one. So I'm just going to mix all that together. And I feel like I can go a little bit stronger with the colour. So I'm just going to add another drop. You've just got to be careful when you add this dye. If you add too much to your resin, especially if it's a really small item or jar, you'll find it will not set, or it sets, it feels like it's set, and then your dye sort of starts coming out the top. It sort of like leaks a little bit. So once you are happy with the colour, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sprinkle in some sesame seeds. And then I'm going to mix that and drag the seeds to the front. So again, just taking your stick, just start dragging your seeds down. You'll start seeing them through your bottle. So I'm just going to work all the way along. And again, if you need some more, you can just keep adding those. So I'm just going to start dragging down my seeds. Once you are happy with the placement, you can then go ahead again, just like we did on the honey, pop your torch on the top and give it about 30 seconds. Then place your torch on the inner part again for about 20 to 30 seconds and then run it along. So you'll know when it's dry, as we always say, just give it a bit of a tap. You'll know because it's, you know, it will feel really hard. If it sort of like starts sinking in a little bit, just give it a little bit longer. So this was the strawberry colour and this is the raspberry colour. As you can see, it's completely different colour when I bring you up close. So again, we're going to finish these lids off afterwards. So I'm just going to take my sticker, peel it off, and again, pop that to the front. I've just placed my sticker on here. So next up is the blackberry jam. So I'm going to use the purple candle liquid dye, and I'm also going to use my purple polyballs. So again, just pop your resin in the bottom. I'm now going to add a few drops of my purple dye. And then just taking a stick again, just give that a mix. So I know I need a little bit more dye. Can you see it's gone quite clear? It's not as strong as I want it to be. So I'm just going to go in again, just with another few drops. Give that a mix. And then once all that is mixed together, what I'm going to do is add my polyballs next. So I'm just going to sprinkle some inside. Now I might need to add again some more dye depending obviously how dark you want to go. These do stick to absolutely everything, so I'm just going to be a little bit more careful. Let me just pop that back up. Right, I'm going to now push these polyballs inside and mix these. So as you can see, you can sort of like see the balls, but again, the colour isn't sort of like strong enough. It's better just to keep adding your colour. Like say if you add too much, it won't set. So a couple more drops. Give it a mix. And now what I'm going to do is again add my resin. You can drag it up to the side. So like we said earlier, you don't have to use all your product. Just going to give this a shake, add a couple more drops and mix it together. And then I'm going to set it again with my torch. So just make sure you give it a good mix. Like I say, you'll know when you've mixed it enough because you don't get any streaks in your resin. So I'm just going to mix this. And then again, just pop my torch on the top for about 30 seconds and then underneath. So my resin is now set. And I've just added my label again to the front. So we have now done 3. Let's carry on. So next we're going to do the lemon curd. Now the lemon curd is more of, let's just show you the honey, which is more sort of like clear. So for this we're going to use our paint because lemon curd is a lot thicker and less see-through. So for this, again, we're going to use our resin, but this time we're going to go onto some paint. So I'm just going to pop this in the bottom, just like we've done on all the steps so far. And now I'm going to take some buttercup yellow, and I'm also going to go in with some orange. Now this is, I haven't got the shade on here, but it's sort of like a darker orange. You can obviously go in with a lighter orange, just make sure you don't add too much. So taking a bamboo skewer or a cocktail stick or a paintbrush, let me just grab this one. I'm now going to dip in with my yellow, not too much, just on the end. And I'm going to mix that into my resin. And as you can see, it's really yellow. So once that's mixed in, what I want to do is go in with some orange and just add a tiny bit of orange, just to stop that yellow being so bright. And then I'm going to mix that together. Now I might need some more orange, depending on obviously how vibrant you want your lemon curd. So let me just show you. Can you see the difference? Now we've added just that tiny little bit of orange. You just sort of tone down that yellow. So now I'm happy with the base colour. What I'm going to do is just top up again with my resin. If I had a paintbrush, you can obviously drag this, like I said earlier, up to the sides and just coat the inner part rather than obviously fill it up like I am doing. We did cover that with the jam, like I said, in the previous step. Now I know I'm going to I know I need to add some more paint to this because I don't want it too clear, which is what is going to happen because obviously I've added a lot more resin. So I'm just going to mix that to my bottom colour. And then again, I'm just going to go in with some orange. Just to start with, because obviously the orange is the stronger colour. And then if I need to lift it anymore, then I will go back in with the yellow. Again, you know, obviously lemon curd can be quite bright. I do want mine a little bit deeper in colour. So you can drag down your colour just like I am doing with your cocktail stick. If you've got any streaks in it. Let me just show you just before I set it. So can you see the difference in colour? I'm going to go again a couple of drops more just to make it a little bit more thicker. But while you use your, when you use your acrylic paint, it becomes less see-through. So I'm going to go again in with some yellow. Because lemon curd isn't see-through, as you know, if you love it like I do. It's quite thick. So what I don't want to do is have like a see-through bottle like my honey. I want it more of a solid colour. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to keep mixing this. And I think I'm nearly there with the colour. So you can just keep dipping into your orange and your yellow. And then once you are happy, you need to set that again, just like we have on the previous steps. So I've just added a tiny bit more orange. And now I am happy with the colour of my lemon curd. I am now going to set that again with my torch. So that is now dry. I've just stuck my little lemon curd label to the front. So next we're going to do the marmalade. So in your kit you would have found a little orange glue stick. You will need a cocktail stick and your pencil sharpener for this next piece. So with your cocktail stick, what you will need to do is just poke that inside your little stick. And on the previous steps, you would have seen a blue one of these. However, I went out and bought a new one, only because I didn't want any black, you know, because obviously I've used pencils and things like that in my other one. Bought this from Tesco. I think it was about 79 pence. So you are best with a fresh pencil sharpener for this. Taking your glue stick and a clean pencil sharpener, what you're going to do is just push this inside. And we're going to start making some rinds to go inside. So obviously we put the stick on for now. I can pinch it here. However, you know, when you get further down, depending on how much you want to do, you can obviously twist this stick as well. I might not need it, but I just wanted to show you just in case. So I'm just going to take off some rind. Can you hear the ducks picking and hoising are in the garden? That's my little ducks. And I'm just going to snip these off. Doesn't have to be even, because these are going to go inside the jar. Oops. My rinds are now cut. So the next thing you need to do, just pop some resin at the bottom. Now I have done this in a previous step. The orange, which is this one, the liquid dye, was far too bright and you couldn't see the rind. So for this one, I'm going to film it and see how it goes. I'm going to go in with the butter, and I only want a drop. Because I found what happened with the previous one is you couldn't see the rind inside. So don't make the same mistake I did. So I'm just going to mix that up just at the bottom to start with. That's such a better colour. And now I'm going to add my rind inside the bottom, and hopefully that'll stand out a lot more than the orange that I used. I will show you the orange in a second, just to show you before we mix this. So the orange, even though I added my rind, you cannot see it. It's got air bubbles where it is. So that was that colour. So we need to go a lighter colour. So I've gone up a step to the butter, and then hopefully we will be able to see the rind through that colour. So let me just give that a mix. Obviously we haven't got enough resin in this yet. I'm not going to add any more colour other than that one drop that I've added. Just to make sure everything is coated. And then hopefully this one will work out a lot better. So again, I'm just going to go in with my resin, no more colour. Again, you can drag yours up around the sides to stop you using all your product. As you can see, it's quite clear at the moment. So I'm just going to give it another mix and just drag that colour up. Because I do want those rinds sort of showing through my bottle. I'm going to need to add a few more, I think, as well. I don't know if you can see on camera, but you can see the actual rinds inside now. So I don't want to add any more colour. What I want to do is take some more. Oh, where's my cocktail stick one gone? I'm not quite sure. Some more rinds. I need my cocktail stick one in a second because I'm nearly out of this one. And I'm just going to start building it up inside just by adding some more. So you'll probably need your full stick for this. So I'm just going to keep shaving off more of my stick. Like I say, I have got one on a stick somewhere. And I'm going to sort of like start filling my jar up. Obviously, the more you add, you know, you will have enough. The more you add, the more you're going to be able to see. So let me just shave some more off and then I'll be back. So I've now added all my rind. I'm not quite sure whether you can see it on camera. I'll try and give you a close-up. It's probably not as prominent as what I want it to be. However, I am still happy with the colour. So if I was to do it again, what I would probably do is put all my rind in with my resin, mix that, and then decide whether you needed to add colour or not. But I'm hoping once that's set, you can see it a little bit more. And there's a huge difference to the using the orange to the butter, as you can see, just to show you. So I'm going to set that with my torch. So top and bottom, and then pop on my label. And then the last one we're going to do is the blueberry jam. And then I'm going to show you how to add the lid. And then obviously I'll continue with that and then show you the finished result at the end. So my marmalade is now set. Now it's set, I am a lot happier. As you can see, the rind inside. So next for the blueberry jam, we have got some little blue balls, poly balls. I've also got some blue candle dye. So again, what I'm going to do is just add a little bit inside my jar. And then 1 drop of this, because obviously the candle dye is really, really strong. So I don't want it too blue. Then I'm going to give that a mix. So I do want it quite blue, because obviously we've got loads of other colours. So I do want this one to stand out as well. And then once I've mixed all that together, I'm now going to add some little blue poly balls. I knew there was all not going to go in the pot, but we will pick them up. Don't want to add too many just yet. Give that a mix again, just to see what sort of colour it looks like with these in. So more resin. Again, as we always said, throughout all of these steps, you can use your paintbrush and drag all that. But I'm just going to fill mine up with resin. Just makes it easier to film. So I know, obviously you can see, it's not really a really strong blue at the moment. So let me just mix those in. Spread out my poly balls. And then I just want another drop, just to make it a little bit more darker. I'm going in with 2 drops. And then mix that together. And then hopefully we should have the perfect colour. There we go. So obviously my label is going to go to the front, so I'm just going to spread out these poly balls with my stick. There's no point sort of gathering and put, you know, at the front where you're going to put your label, because you're not going to see those. So I'm just going to separate those. I really love the effect of this with the balls. I'm just going to drag it up to my my glass as well, just to make sure all my glass is covered before I set it. So let me just set that with my torch. Then I'm going to add my label, and then, like I said on the previous step, I'm going to show you how to add the lid, and then obviously you can add the lid to all your others. My label is now on, and that is the full set of our little stickers. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just going to show you, I don't know, we'll start with the first one of how to pop your lids on. So obviously these bottles come with corks. You need to push these in as far as you can get it. So you don't need to glue these in because they're pretty tight. Now some, you know, obviously you might have a little lip like this. Some might be, you know, wider, depending if you've got any resin going round the edge. And then just take a craft knife and you're just going to slice the cork just to make that lid flat. So the last part for the lid, what you're going to need to grab is some tacky glue. You can obviously use PVA glue as well, it just takes a lot longer to dry. I'm using greaseproof paper for my lids, however, like we mentioned previously, you can obviously use tissue paper, bits of fabric, anything like that. You can also use a thin elastic band just to tie it around, or like I have, I've just got myself some cotton. So first of all, what you'll need to do is just cut quite a big rough circle for your lid. So let's just do that quick. Doesn't have to be neat because obviously we trim it off afterwards. So obviously, as you can see, it is far too long. So just keep measuring it up just till you get something a little bit smaller. So that'll do for now. So what you'll need to do is just dab some glue on the top. Obviously, if you're using greaseproof paper, you cannot use your glue gun for this because it will not stick. Just going to tap that on the top first. And this will dry clear as well, so it'll look quite white until it dries. And then just pop your chosen top on. And then just let that set just for a few seconds. Then I'm just going to trim off, see these pointy corners? I'm just going to lightly trim just while that's on the top. And then next what you want to do is, again, just use your tacky glue and just go along this rim here. So let me just do that. So I've just placed my glue just around the rim there. So now what you're going to do is just push this with your fingers. And if you've got nails, that's great. It will help. If not, obviously you can use a little tool. And you're just going to start pushing your lid just where all your glue is. Just fold it and push it, and it'll get that sort of fluted effect. Just keep squeezing it and it'll sort of form its shape. So obviously you can leave it really sort of frilly like this, but with the previous one that I did, I just went around just with my scissors, now that's in place, and just trimmed it to the size that you want. So let me just trim this off. And then again what you're going to do is then just push the glue back on, because obviously it might have lifted off slightly once you're cutting it. So just give it a squeeze again and everything will start sort of folding up. So a little bit more here. Again, just keep trimming it around. And this is where your little elastic band, you can just pop that over the top. You can also use some thin string as well if you want to. So that's how you get the lid on. And then just taking some cotton, if you're doing it the way I am. Just going to wrap this around and then just tie a little knot. I'll try and do it through the camera if I can. And then just pull that tight, just so it sits along the top. I'm just going to double knot it. I haven't cut this to size either. It's still on the end of my cotton spool. And then just keep this bit long, and then just wrap this around a few times, pulling it quite tight. And then snip that and then tie that back together. And then you can just trim off the ends. It's very fiddly through the camera. And then you can trim off your cotton. And that's how you attach the lids. So again, you can just keep trimming it around. I do quite like it a little bit longer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to complete the rest, and then I'll be back with all the finished little jars. I am now back and I have completed all my jar little lids. Obviously that was in the previous kit, so we'll take that one out. These turned out super cute. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Obviously I'm going to let those dry now, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye everybody.